This is a tutorial of the series Plant Pest Surveys, Planning and Reporting in Western Balkan 6. It intends to assist the multi-annual planning of detection surveys. The tutorial will inform you about what shall be considered while establishing the list of pests to be surveyed in the multi-annual period, and then how to create the pest list for annual surveys. Thereafter, the relevant features of a planning tool will be shown. For selecting quarantine pests for multi-annual detection surveys in Western Balkan 6, various aspects need to be considered, such as the plant health risk of the pest, the experience obtained during past surveys, the EU plant health requirements, the phytosanitary requirements of non-EU importing countries, and the available budgetary, human and technical resources. The project team proposes to Western Balkan 6 to select pests for multi-annual surveys from the followings: the EU priority pests, other union quarantine pests which are subject to EU regulations, new and emerging pests subject to EU regulations, pests subject to Western Balkan 6 eradication programs, and pests on the national quarantine lists which are not regulated by the EU. After the scope of pests for the multi-annual period is established, you should define the years when the various pests will be checked. As the resources in Western Balkan 6 are limited, the project team proposes to start surveying the top 10 pests for your country, then extend the scope gradually in the following years. You should revise the annual survey list as necessary to reflect the changes in plant health situation. Now let's see the relevant features of the planning tool, which is an Excel file. Please open the Excel file, enable the macros, and then go to the worksheet Pests. The categories of the pests in the table are indicated with color codes. The table is divided into two parts. The first part lists 44 pests which the project team recommends for surveys in Western Balkan 6. These are the EU priority pests, the pests subject to specific EU requirements, and pests subject to eradication measures in Western Balkan 6. There are rows into which pests may be copied from the second part of the table, and rows for pests which are not listed by the EU legislation and are not in the table. The second part of the table lists over 300 pests which are either subject to EU requirements or are on the EPO alert list. For each pest, the table contains a range of information which are the follows: the vector, the pest group, EU emergency measures, available survey cards, distribution, pathway for introduction, risk for introduction to Western Balkan 6, host to be targeted for detection surveys, risk areas, sites for surveys, and trap types, trapping sites. The information is the summary of the relevant EU legislation, EFSA pest survey cards, and pest sheets in the EPO global database. Then there are columns with multiple choice drop-down menus. In the column Assumed Western Balkan 6 risk, please indicate the outcome of your risk assessment according to the ISPM categories. In the column to be surveyed, select each year when the pest intended to be surveyed. Year 1, year 3, and so on. In the column trapping, select whether you intend to trap the pest or its vector. To the column comments, you may add any relevant additional information. Please complete this selection for each pest in the first part of the table. After these selections are completed, please use the Excel filtering function to create the annual pest list for surveys and trapping. For the filtering, for example, of the first year, you can select those pests which are indicated as annual surveys and as year 1 surveys. And in our example, you can see the 3 pests which need to be surveyed in the year 1 of the multi-annual period. For further information, please consult the user manual of this survey tool. Thank you for your attention. Please watch the other videos on plant pest survey planning and reporting.